Okay. All right. Welcome, everyone, to Pitch OWU. Thrilled that you're here tonight. Thrilled to get to hear the pitches in just a few minutes. I'm Matt Volrath. I'm the faculty director for the Woltamade Center, which is the organization sponsoring this event, in collaboration with several other organizations on campus, which together are part of Latham Bishop Ventures. Latham Bishop Ventures is a program here at OWU that is designed to get students interested in entrepreneurship, help you to imagine what entrepreneurship could mean for your interests and for your academic pursuits, and then to give you a pathway to actually pursue those things, launch a business, get support here on campus, mentorship, maybe even some space in the deck. So this is a Latham Bishop Ventures program, and we hope that if you are new to entrepreneurship, this is a place where you can kind of encounter what entrepreneurship is about and get some excitement about it. So I'll turn things over to Destiny Coleman, the Administrative Director of the Woltamade Center, to introduce our judges.
All right, thank you, Matt. So tonight, I would like to introduce our judges. We have Professor Clifford Hurst, Assistant Professor in Economics and Business. We have Professor Barbara McLeod, Joseph A. Meek Endowed Chair in Economics and Business, John J. Joseph, Chair in Economics, and Managing Director of Golden Seeds. Golden Seeds is one of the most active early-stage investment groups, investing exclusively in women-led companies within the B2B and B2C technology, healthcare, and consumer product industries. And our final judge is Andrew Payne, class of 2015. He's the strategy manager at Healthy.io. He's the Woltamade Center board member and an OWU alumni partner. In his roles in corporate development and M&A, Drew evaluated and invested in strategic investments. He also reviewed and met with 50-plus startups looking for investment. So now I'm going to discuss the format for tonight's event. Students will be given 5 minutes to pitch their business idea. Once the 5 minutes is over, the countdown clock right in front will ding, letting the student know that their allotted time is over. After their pitch is completed, I will ask the presenting student or team to move over to the left and answer questions from the judges and request the next student or team to come up to present. After all the presentations are finished, there will be a 10 to 15 minute judges' deliberation, and the top 3 winners will be announced. And finally, the prizes. First place prize tonight will win $1,000. Second place will win $750. Third place will win $500. And those who do not place tonight will receive a $50 Barnes & Noble gift card. I would now like to bring up our first student this evening, Aubrey Dunham.
Hello. Hi. So my name is Aubrey Dunham. You guys might remember me from last year. I pitched my Etsy store, which is kind of a weird thing to pitch, but I ended up placing third somehow. So I'm back, and I'm here to pitch something a little bit more interesting, something that kind of goes to a wider market. So I actually came up with this idea in the car with my mom. So this is my inspiration. I was in the car with my mom, and my mom and I were talking about how fast our groceries go. She was talking about how now that it's just me, or just her and my dad at home, now that my youngest sister has gone to college too, that they're having to now freeze half loaves of bread because the bread just like goes so quick and they can't get through the bread that fast. And it made us talk about why they don't just serve like half portions of things at the grocery store, or why is there a grocery store meant for that? Which brings me to 63.48% of households in 2021 in America had occupants of 2 or less. So this means over half of basically the grocery market, which is everybody, is basically running out of this food so quickly. So why isn't there a grocery store that serves these? So my grocery store is going to be just a pinch, and it basically only serves smaller portions that are more manageable for smaller households. And also, the amount of smaller households has only been going up. With this quote that basically just says, it's like the biggest social change and no one's doing anything about it. Because more of the older generation their kids are gone, they're living alone, and the younger generation has a distaste for kids and aren't really wanting to have kids, so they're all living alone. So you have both the oldest generation and the youngest generation living alone or just with their partner. On top of this, this could be great for the environment because Americans waste more than 48 billion each year on food. So by basically making these portion sizes smaller and more manageable, you'll be wasting less food, which is great for the environment and great for your pocketbook because you're going to pay significantly less for it. And also with this, so much food is wasted through grocery stores. 40% of the total food waste comes from grocery stores and the food that they throw out because it starts to wilt a little bit and doesn't look good on the shelf. So this is a food recovery hierarchy made by the EPA. And so my store is going to target the first three. One is source reduction. Obviously, we're going to shrink down the source because we're serving to smaller portion sizes to smaller families. And then any of the food that starts to wilt a little bit but is still edible for a while will go to food pantries, and anything the food pantries reject will go to feeding livestock farm animals, which a lot of the food that goes to feed them also is what creates the gases buildup in the atmosphere. I read an amazing book called The Secret Life of Grocery once I first started having this idea because I really wanted to learn more about our grocery industry. And it talked about the shrimp fishing in Taiwan, and it talked about even how in Whole Foods, it talked about like the little gross parts of Whole Foods that we don't understand. And being able to see kind of the darker side of the industry kind of makes it more interesting to want to expand that industry and make it like a better place, not only for the environment, but for people who are wasting their food, that are spending this money on their food, especially as food prices and grocery prices are going up with inflation. It's just generally, I believe, a good thing. So yeah, like I said, source reduction is our main goal. Circling back to that. So sorry. So yeah, really, that's all I have to say, to be honest. I just love reading and learning about the grocery industry, and I'm interested in helping the environment and helping people save money and not have to freeze their bread, because I think it's really ridiculous to have to freeze your bread.
All right, I'd like to invite up Ava Hurd, and you are open for questions.
My question thank you. My question is why you are focusing on a grocery store rather than a brand that could service many stores and hit a larger market.
I do think I have thought about that before, because in my grocery store in my hometown, they sell like the little cartons of milk that you would get like from a school cafeteria. But I've kind of noticed that those things are thrown away the most kind of in a grocery store, because when you go to a grocery store, a lot of times you're looking for bigger portions. So I feel like having like a smaller store with smaller portion sizes would make it easier. And it'd also make it easier to locate. We're not kind of stuck trying to get ourselves into a grocery store. Part of the book Secret Life of Grocery that I read talked about a perspective of an entrepreneur trying to get her product into a grocery store. And it talked about how difficult that process is and how basically it's borderline impossible to get new products into a store, which is why I figured if you can't get your product into a store, just start a store.
Thank you.
Hi, I have a question. Do you think it'll be hard to get the brands to produce smaller portion sizes, or do you plan to kind of, as Professor McLeod mentioned, to have the brand be your own store label?
I would really like the brand to be my own store label, because that's really what Aldi's and Trader Joe's and the more affordable grocery stores do. They just create, okay, so for example, Pet Supplies Plus. I have a pet fish. I just had to go there to buy a new filter for her tank. They have a brand called Good Fins, and it's cheaper than anything else that they sell. It's because it's their brand. They just renamed it to look like it's a different brand, which is basically what every grocery store does. So basically, that's what I would really like to do, is follow that formula that they're doing that's really working, that's letting them get cheaper products to their customers quicker. But I could feel like I have some pretty good negotiating skills that at first I could get some smaller portion sizes out.
I'm curious to know if you've done any initial cost estimates of what your first store would cost to open.
No, I haven't yet. Like I said, this is just kind of an idea that came from my mom in the car. I was actually going to pitch a totally different business, and I had all the cost estimates for that one, but I got so excited at the prospect of like a little grocery store with like little portion sizings for like almost 70% of the market that I just had to pitch this idea instead. So I don't have any cost estimates right now, but it's definitely something I'm looking forward to calculating in the future.
One more. Do you think this is specific to larger cities, or do you think it can be expanded across the whole U.S.?
I think it could be expanded across the whole U.S., but I would like to, when we start opening stores, start them in larger cities like Chicago and LA, because I feel like more of the people who live in cities think more of the greener mindset, and also they're looking for cheaper options because they live in an expensive city, rent's expensive, ride share is expensive. So cheaper options, and also they're probably more likely to move towards the greener options than like in my hometown with a population of like 3,000 who really don't believe in that kind of stuff.
Does your mother have, she's going to be a partner in this, and what background experience does she have to run something like a grocery store?
My mom, I don't know if she'd want to be a partner in this. If she wanted to, I'd definitely let her. I'm the one with the business experience. My mom doesn't really have any business experience, but she loves to learn. I get my will to learn and my love to learn from my mom. So I'm sure that if she does decide to be a partner in this, that she would dive headfirst into it and learn anything she needs to learn.
I'm curious to know, what do you see as your next step?
So definitely my next step, I feel like would be learning how to produce the product before we buy a physical store, because you can't really open a store and not have any product to put in the store. So learning about factories and farmers and those kind of people to source food and ingredients from, and then factories to produce the food from in a safe environment. And then from there, once we kind of have that all planned out, once we start producing it, then open our first store.
Thank you.
Thank you, judges. Thank you, Aubrey.
Have you ever experienced being at an outdoor sporting event early in the morning because your team got the unlucky 8 a.m. game and it's freezing outside and all you want is something warm in your hands and a little pick-me-up? Well, here this is, and here I am serving joy one cup at a time with Chara. Hi, I'm Ava Hurd, and I ran into this problem at my little sister's soccer game this month, actually, where all I wanted was a coffee, but there was none in sight. So the solution would be a mobile cafe. And what makes this mobile cafe unique and different than any other along the same lines is that Chara is going to actually be mobile. It'll be a push cart that will be able to roll around in grass and come to you when you're on the sidelines of your kids' sporting events. We'll also have fresh products, coffee and other things brewed that same day. Eventually, we'll have a pre-order option where our food menu will be available to parents and adults attending these events, and they'll be able to order food beforehand so they don't have to worry about packing it. And then what's going to make us the most unique is our customer service. Chara means joy in Greek, and that's what we're going to strive to provide to our customers. Just a little bit of extra joy every day. And how we're going to make revenue and money is the direct purchases from the physical coffee cart, and then that pre-order option, as well as charging an hourly rate for being booked at special events. Here's a little bit of a go-to-market plan, and I'm going to show you that in a timeline now. So we've already done some market research through surveys this month, and in November, we're going to do some market tests, which are going to be called free coffee days, as well as creating the physical mobile cafe. In December, we're going to obtain the LLC and all the license and permits needed for the operation. And at the end of December, beginning of January, we're going to create partnerships and get on socials. We're also in January going to plan out our events and do a launch party. We're projected to do our first event in February, which will be the Ohio Elite College Showcase at the end of the month. And then in April, we'll be attending events also, and in May, we'll begin to go to farmers markets to reach a different customer segment. And there are competitors for us. This concept is already around. We see food trucks with the Columbus Coffee Company, and then the Salt and Light Coffee Cart, as well as Cart and Crema and Drink Tank are similar to us. But we're unique because we're gonna be serving joy one cup at a time, and it's gonna be fresh and mobile. And I'm Ava, the founder, and have a little bit of help from others, but I really understand this problem because I've been on both sides of the spectrum for this target market. I'm now an adult watching these games, and I used to be a player, so I really understand what people want, and I know for a fact I would purchase this. And here's a little bit of our finances. As you can see, it will roughly cost about $1,300 to build the for our fixed cost. Variable costs can be around $600, and then therefore our total cost would be about $1,900. And you can see the breakdowns a little bit more. And this is kind of our coffee breakdown. Coffee would only cost 43 cents to sell. We'd be charging $2.50, therefore we'd have a gross margin of $2.07. From that market research we've already done, we had 45 people fill out a survey, and 4 out of 5 of them said they would buy this item. And if a tournament or a soccer event had about 1,500 people there, that would mean 1,200 people would buy a coffee. Therefore, that day we would make $2,484. And with the numbers in the previous slide, we would break even at that first event. Thank you. My name's Ava, serving joy one cup at a time with Chara.
You said that 4 out of 5 people said they would buy. Where
Yeah.
did you learn that?
I actually have my survey underneath. It was done in the market survey. I have it in the slides, but I gave her my slides. I had 45 travel soccer parents fill out and complete a survey, and it showed that 80% of the 45 people said they would purchase coffee if it was available.
Thank you.
Would you be serving any other hot drinks or just coffee? And what types of coffee? What's your competitive advantage here? I'm sorry, I'm asking a lot of questions all at the same time.
For the simplicity of today, that's what I wanted to show was just normal coffee. But with the 20% of people that did say they would not buy coffee, all of them wanted other drinks, hot chocolates, teas, things along those lines. And those would all be provided when funding's available and all that. I would also like to have cappuccinos, maybe a special fun drink, and then the hot chocolate because kids can drink that, and some sort of hot tea. That was all your question, right? Okay.
Do you think this idea is scalable to grow at a fast scale, I guess, and versus, one vendor at a time?
Yeah, so actually this past weekend there was a soccer tournament in Dayton, Ohio, and there was a soccer tournament in Hilliard, Ohio. And I do believe that if we can make a return and a profit quickly, we could create another cart and get it licensed just the same way as the first one. Therefore, we'd be having at least 2 to 3 and then more so forth push carts, and even scale it into a coffee cart or a coffee truck one day.
Just as a quick follow-on, are you looking to only raise the 1,300 or so you needed to create one cart, or would you look to raise 10,000 to make 5 carts?
I would like to make 10,000. That's always the best thing. And to get it more certified within the departments, like health departments, the more you provide, the more responsibility you have as an owner to have like certain things within your cart. Like for example, sinks and things like that. So to expand, it would be nice to have more money to create more carts.
quite understand that.
It's the month of December. You're on your way to work, you're running late, and to top that off, it's snowing outside. All of a sudden, you hear a loud bang. You get out of your car, and you find out that a huge piece of rusted metal just flew off your car. You ask yourself, how did this happen? I just bought a car 3 years ago. You call the mechanic, and the mechanic tells you that years of salt exposure to your car's undercarriage has caused it to rust and fly off. And that has taken its toll.
Millions of people worldwide across several different industries experience several different problems with chemical corrosion. For example, in the farming industry, several different corrosive chemicals are applied to the fields, such as fertilizer, and this takes a toll on the equipment. Being a farmer myself, I have some experience with this. I've had to spend several $1,000s on repairs due to rust and corrosion.
Large chemical manufacturing industries, they have these very expensive equipment and machines that are exposed to harmful chemicals which react with each other and cause rust and corrosion.
We've already mentioned, cars experience extreme corrosion due to the salt that's applied on the roads. The salt essentially eats up the metal underneath the car, causing damage.
So, is there a solution to this problem which is easy, safe, and cheap? Well, yes, there is. Presenting Soy Shield. So, what is Soy Shield? Soy Shield is a clear sprayable coating which is chemical corrosion resistant, scratch resistant, flexible, and soybean based. Here are 2 samples of Soy Shield itself which are applied on one side of those metal sheets. You can see the flexibility and clarity of Soy Shield in those samples. You can also see the black square on which a very corrosive acid was applied, and even after 5 applications, it did not show any reaction at all.
Now, let's talk about some nerdy stuff. This is what I like. Now, the chemistry of Soy Shield is a polyurethane, which consists of 2 different chemicals. One of them coming from soybean, the other one is pretty nerdy, and we'll just say it's chemical 1. Now, the way this works is the 2 chemicals react, bind together, keep reacting and binding until a long chain of very protective coating is formed, and that is Soy Shield.
Well, let's talk about the market of Soy Shield. We've already tested it on chemical corrosion, and this brings a market to the farmers and people who work in the agricultural field, and big chemical manufacturing companies which are willing to spend, which are willing to buy this product to save themselves thousands, perhaps millions of dollars in corrosion repair. After a very aggressive test on salt, we've come to this conclusion that it is also very effective against road salt, which brings a market size to anyone with a car who lives wherever it snows, also government salt trucks, and much more. This increases the market size dramatically.
Now, for the cost analysis, we're going to be making Soy Shield in a 16 fluid ounce can, which is about the size of your average spray paint. The raw ingredients cost around $4 per can to produce, and the packaging through an outside company will cost about $3 to $10 per can. That brings us to a total cost of $7 to $14 per can.
Now let's talk about the business model. It's pretty simple. We're going to buy raw materials from large chemical manufacturers at bulk, which is very cheap. We're going to make the product at our facility, which is very easy to make, and it's time and money effective as well. Then we're going to pitch and sell this product to the retailers like Home Depot, Maynards, and also small-time businessmen.
Now, there are some competitors in this market, such as Armor Garage. They make a product that is similar. However, you can see it is extremely expensive, almost $1,275 for a 3-gallon jug. It is also not as flexible as us and not bio-based. There's also another company called Corrosion Shield. They make a product which is an aerosol sprayable product. However, it is very expensive and, again, not bio-based.
So what makes Soy Shield different? Well, we're orders of magnitude cheaper. We're sprayable, which most of them are not. We're clear, and it's bio-based, which means that it's sustainable, and it completes the regulations of FDA to be marketed as a bio-based product.
Now, our estimates. To get started, we think it's reasonable that we can make around 50 gallons a week. That equates to around 400 cans, and we're going to be charging around $20 per can. The cost is going to be $4,000 initially to produce this 50 gallons, leaving us with a profit of around $4,000. And that's just to get started. I'm Clint. I'm a chemistry and math major. I took my inspiration for Soy Shield from my mom, who broke barriers, being one of the only female professors at Ohio State. She really taught me the power of resilience and differentiation.
I'm Ron, and I'm a physics and math double major. My partner developed Soy Shield in the summer on his own, and he also has a farm of his own that he works on. With his expertise in business and chemistry and my expertise in the market analysis, technology, and the startup ecosystem, we're sure that we're going to scale Soy Shield to higher levels.
I'm Clint.
I'm Ron.
Soy strong.
Corrosion gone. Thank you.
So do I understand this correctly? This is an aftermarket product. You're not trying to sell it to manufacturers, and people will have to apply it, presumably spray on their own undercarriage of autos or farm equipment or whatever.
That's the plan currently, yes.
And how often would it need to be reapplied?
That's something that we're still testing. However, we're thinking it's extremely resilient to acid, which implies that it's going to be very resilient to all chemicals. We're hoping that it's one of those things where it's just one and done application.
You mentioned 3 potential market segments, agriculture, industrial machinery, and private vehicles. Mm-hmm. It's difficult often for entrepreneurs to start at all 3. Where do you intend to start?
Probably the agricultural, because that's kind of where most of our testing has been. After we do some more testing, some more thorough, rigorous testing as far as time, because that's one of those things that we don't really know right now because we haven't had the time to test over years. After those results come back, then we'll try to start marketing to private, like people with cars and eventually chemical manufacturers. But we'll start with ag.
Thank you.
Is this just a issue of if I just go wash my car after there's salt on it, that's also a solution? Is it, or would you need to educate the people who, like myself, who just don't do that anyways?
Most people don't do that. And if they do, they don't generally get the underneath of their car. So they'll think, oh, okay, I'm giving my car a car wash, right? I'm just spraying this stuff off the side. That's not really doing anything because the problem is underneath. Most people don't really know that, and if they do, they don't really spend the time to do that. So this is one of those things where you just spray it, and then you're good to go.
And can I just go out, like how, I guess, would you spray underneath your car if you can't lift it up, like for a direct-to-consumer?
I mean, that is something you can just, I mean, it's going to be propellant, so you can just shoot it, and then it'll get pretty good distance, so you can just kind of crawl under there and just, yeah.
Thank you, Clint. Thank you, Ron.
Hello, my name is Landon Kuhn. My company is My Soccer Coach, a cheaper alternative to private training. Now, when I was growing up playing soccer, I wanted a private trainer. There was 2 problems with this. 1, there was only 1 private trainer in Columbus, and 2, it was around $70 per session. So my family was paying $2,000+ to keep me in club soccer. They didn't want to pay that extra $70 once or twice a week. So when I got a little older, I created my first company, Footy Academy. Now, this was a bit of a cheaper private training to kids in Columbus, Ohio. And I met a lot of great people. I learned a lot of valuable lessons. One thing I learned is that it was still a little bit too expensive and it still wasn't accessible to everyone. Now I introduced My Soccer Coach, an app with 3 main functions. 1, free sessions to players of all ages and skill levels. Now this already makes me unique to other apps on the App Store. 2, pathways to track progress in a fun, unique, and engaging way. And 3, paid sessions with video feedback. Now this is what makes me unique to other apps on the App Store. On my next slide, I'll show you a video of what this will look like. So you'll see me explaining one drill, me demoing the drill, and what a player's submission looks like. Okay, so the next drill we're going to do is working on shooting towards the far post. So you can see we have 1 cone set up in the net. That represents our shooting zone. So we want to shoot the ball between that cone and the far post. The next gun we have set up is our defender here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a ball in our hands and we'll throw it up to start the rep. You're going to take a quality first touch and attack this defender. Once you get to the defender, you're going to cut inside on your strong foot and try to wrap the ball to that far post. Hi Lindsay, thanks for sending in the videos. So one thing I noticed was that your hips were often pointed towards the middle of the goal when you were shooting. So I drew some lines so you can see this. They're in yellow. So oftentimes when our hips are facing the middle of the goal, it causes our shot to either go straight down the middle or to go towards the near post, which is not what we're wanting in this scenario. I'll pull up a clip now of the demo video where you can see my hips are almost pointed directly away from the goal. So this allows the ball to start outside the post and then bend into that far corner, which is what we're wanting. So I'll go ahead and play this clip one more time, and you can see your hips, and then next session we'll do the same drill and you can work on starting your hips outside the goal. So you might be asking, why don't I just continue Footy Academy? So here are some numbers. With Footy Academy, I was able to make around $4,000 last summer, making $40 an hour and only operating from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. With my soccer coach, I'll be able to make $60 an hour, be able to operate all day, and be able to operate in even winter months. My business model, so 2 ways I'll get paid. I will get paid through paid sessions, which we just spoke about, and then advertisements on free sessions. Now my cost drivers, app development's obviously the big one, and I'll talk about in the next slide how I'm going to go around that high cost. App Store publishing rights is around $100 annually, and maintenance is $350 per month. My go-to-market plan. So by December 2023, I will have a full app sketch. You can see on the right side here, I've got 1 page of my app sketch. So this is on the free section in Train. I will have a co-founder with experience in app development. So instead of paying $60,000 for someone to make me an app, I will have a co-founder that will have a % equity in my company. By March 2024, I want to release the minimum viable product to beta testers. By November 2024, I will have the full product to release to beta testers, and depending on how that period goes, I would like to release the full app in June 2025. Now, competitive analysis, my only competitor is Train Effective. They're the top competitor. So what they have is they have paid session plans, but it's a subscription basis. So while I have free session plans, you would have to pay a subscription to see their sessions. One cool thing they have is a learn section with videos from pros. So that's something I might implement into my app a little bit in the future. What we have in common is we both have pathways to track progress, and then that personalization of the app with age and skill level. If I want $1,000, here's what I'll do with it. I'm going to create an offer for an app developer. This will look like a cash offer as well as a % equity. I will maintain the app during the development phase, and then I will finally publish the app. Again, my name is Elaine Chun. My company is My Soccer Coach, a cheaper alternative to private training. Thank you.
Landon, you said that sessions were free and then they're paid sessions, and that was unclear to me what you were doing there and how you're going to make your money.
Okay. So the free sessions would basically be you would go on the app and I would give suggestion for drills that they could do on their own. The paid sessions is what that video was. So you saw I was giving feedback to Lindsay. So she sent in a player submission, and I sent her a video saying, hey, this is what we can work on. I'm going to put this in your next session and we'll work on it. So it's kind of building that private coach online, if that makes sense.
You're basically having to do that all day in order to get the revenue that you anticipated.
So it would take me around 10 minutes to complete a full session online. So it would be maybe $10 for 10 minutes.
Kind of to piggyback on Professor McLeod's question, do you think this is scalable? Because you only have so much time in a day. Would you look to add other coaches to the platform in that way to increase revenue, and you would just take a cut of their revenue? Yeah, definitely. I think that's something that would be a little bit in the future, just depending on how many clients there is. Because if I had a big client base, I would obviously be doing videos all day. So that's definitely the route I would go, hiring coaches up to my standard, and then having videos that way.
Thank you.
Hello, my name's Kylie Linville. My business is Linville Consulting, and we empower entrepreneurs through our 360-degree approach. Many entrepreneurs begin their business with a great idea and a willingness to make it a reality, but they often fall short in their marketing efforts. They think they can do it themselves and it's low quality, or they hire a consultant who is often pricey. My customer segment is entrepreneurs within 2 years of starting their business. They have a good work ethic, but do not know where to start with marketing. Or they have a basic market, do not have the time to learn everything and do the actual marketing. This matters because 80% of small businesses survive the first year, but only 50% make it to the 5-year mark. Many aspiring entrepreneurs are afraid of failure, and so this is why they do not start their business. Existing alternatives are they can learn to market themselves, which can be time-consuming and costly if they're taking courses, or they can hire a consultant, which can be pricey, and they oftentimes do not take the time to teach you how to use your platforms. My solution is a 360-degree service approach. I will create the platforms, market and create content, and then teach them how to use their platforms. So my business is a lifestyle business. It has low startup costs. I already own a computer, a phone, and a printer. Something that would be helpful would be an upgraded camera, which I'm estimating to be around $600. A variable cost I have is gas if I'm driving to the business to take content. And right now I'm in a profit currently in my business. After buying the camera, I will still be in a profit, but it will take around 1 to 2 months to cover the cost of that camera. My revenue streams are I'm gonna have a package pricing, which I'll have 4 to 5 packages. This is for people who do not know their needs or aren't sure where to start. If their needs do not fit into a package, I can do an hourly rate with them, which all the packages are based off of this hourly rate, so not one is better than the other. So I gave you my business plan. None of this matters without evidence. I started working with my client almost 3 months ago. When he opened, he hired an on-team marketer, but due to high cost and low startup income, he had to let her go. When I started, he did not know any of his passwords or how to check insights, but now he sends me screenshots on a weekly basis of our insights. Specifically, the third one on there. So to explain these screenshots, the first one is a new menu I made for him. We added a few items and I made it more neat, the layout. This has 9,372 impressions, 781 profile visits, and then the next photo is the previous month's insights, which shows an increase in non-follower reach by 1,024% and an increase in follower reach by 10.9%. Last is just a video of me going up to his pickup window, pressing a button, and getting my food and walking away. We thought this would be helpful because his restaurant is located in a difficult area to know where to pick up your food. And this reached 19,485 accounts, with 18,052 of them being non-followers. My name is Kylie Linville. My business is Linville Consulting, and we empower entrepreneurs through our 360-degree approach.
So it seems like you have at least one customer, but how are you planning to go about increasing the number of customers you have? And then are you concerned that your model of teaching them how to use the platform will then cause customer churn, and then you basically are making yourself lose revenue?
So I want to go, Cliff is my entrepreneurship professor, and through his class we have assignments to go to different entrepreneurship events, and I will market at those events my business. And then for the other part of your question, things like that, or even my current client texts me and asks, he had to close the shop, and I do a certain picture and a certain sticker on it, and I had to tell him where to find the sticker and all that stuff. And I'm willing to give up that information, but I'm not giving them any of my intellectual property.
Thanks.
You said that it would take you approximately 2 months to cover a $600 cost for a camera. So how are you going to live on this business, and what is your break-even number of customers there?
So that is currently with my one customer, and it depends on how many hours a week I work, because I am on an hourly rate. My weekly pay ranges depending on how much I'm doing, but if I do, that's with my one singular customer. It would take around 2 months, but with more customers, I will be able to cover that cost much quicker.
If we were to call your current customer, what do you think he would say about your work for him?
He texts me and tells me I'm the best in town almost on a weekly basis as well. He is very proud of what I've done for his business.
Hello, my name is Melissa Murray, and I'm a biochemistry pre-med major here. My company is Flush Fun, and it's potty training made easier. So this comes from my siblings and my nieces and nephews. Potty training or toilet training is a major milestone for toddlers as they learn to listen to their bodies, but many parents find it a struggle and children resistant to learning. They just have no desire, they're anxious, they're disinterested, or you just can't get them to do it. My product, Flush Fun, is a solution to make potty training easier for parents and more entertaining and engaging for young children. I know personally my nieces and nephews, one of them's terrified and one of them just has no interest whatsoever, so this came about with my siblings complaining to me all the time about their children and how they're trying everything and anything and just can't seem to find a solution. So there's some statistics that according to the American Academy of Family Physicians, 40 to 60% of children are potty trained by 36 months, which in my mind sounded like that took a little bit. It's because less than a third successfully potty train their children first time around, and girls tend to be a little bit easier than boys, and more than 80% of children experience setbacks. So the solution is Flush Fun, a product that is dropped into the toilet prior to urination, and it changes colors in reaction to the urine, keeping the children engaged and making the process more fun and entertaining. Color has been found to send signals to the brain, increasing hunger or calmness. They can distract a child and enhance learning potential. That's why a lot of parents, when they want to distract their kids, they put on something bright or fun on their phone, something that'll capture their attention. Bright colors are noticed by young children as they help them distinguish form when they're looking at the world around them. So Flush Fun will use a thermal indicator or a pH indicator to react to the change in temperature caused by the urine hitting the water. So thermal indicators are used to show reaction after a liquid has exceeded a temperature, while pH indicators are used to indicate pH ranges, showing when the pH of the liquid has been altered. So I have a little demonstration. This would be our product. It would be added to the water and then reacting with urine to create fun colors. This one would be bright pink. So this is environmentally friendly. This can go right down the sink or be flushed in the toilets. There's no danger due to the chemicals because they're neutralized when they mix with each other. So my business model, the product is marketed towards parents of young children, specifically those that are beginning potty training. This product would be sold through retailers as well as online. Amazon has great resources to start a product launch line, and the product will have a fixed pricing structure, selling at a list price online and in stores. Revenue would be produced via sales of the product. So my marketing plan is to target parents, specifically those of children undergoing potty training, and through social media as well as parenting blogs. Parenting blogs are a good resource and leverage in order to build awareness, and then word of mouth is another marketing tool that can be used. Parents tend to talk to one another, always recommending, they want to talk about their kids all the time, what their kids are using, how well it worked, what they enjoy. So competitive analysis, there's a significant gap in this market. Currently products include like charts for tracking or like accessories like the little toilets to make it easier for kids to sit, or reward systems. And those like sales are especially high for those products because kids are tiny and they need things to help them out. But of products that increase children's interest, there's currently only books, teaching, or like light up buttons that they can play with while they're sitting there. There's nothing like Flush Fun that currently exists. So currently the product is still an idea in the R&D phase, however the science behind it is viable. Additional funding would be used to further my research on specific indicators for the desired pH or on a specific temperature changing indicator, as they're very specific and they're very touchy. But on average, R&D is normally completed within 1 to 5 years, and you can see the science behind it is sound. So are there any questions?
So thanks, Melissa. It looks, I understand how it works. It's kind of interesting, but I don't understand how it helps the potty training and how it shortens the time period.
So one of the major setbacks for children is they just like do not find it interesting, or they don't want to be sitting there and they need something that engages their minds. So by seeing like a reaction, it's like positive reinforcement psychologically that they're seeing something fun happen, and they're connecting that experience with like a reward of some type or seeing a fun color. So it makes them want to go back and do it again.
Is it something that they have to, the parent has to put in every time? Can you put it in a tank?
Right before. It would just be dropped in the bowl right before, and then it's like some people spray like the poo-pourri before. It would just be something you would just drop right in there.
Thank you.
Have you tested this yet with your nieces and nephews?
Not yet. I talked to my siblings about it, and my niece is now, one of them is 6, and I was talking to her about fun colors and what would make her more interested in doing things she doesn't like, because she's at an age where she doesn't want to do it, she just won't. And if there's anything colorful involved, especially pink or purple, she is automatically so much more focused, wants to do it over and over and over again. She likes seeing fun colors change, and there's a lot of different products that are similar to this for other things, like color changing when you add water to a coloring book or things like that that just engage children's minds, and they love those.
Is there a way to have specific colors? Like you mentioned your niece likes the purple and pink, but maybe a boy would want a different color, or maybe a girl wants a different color. Is there a way to impact what colors get changed?
Yeah, so there's different indicators available. That's part of what I'm looking at right now. This specific indicator is purple, but there are bright yellows, bright blues, greens. It's just finding a correct indicator and making it work for that specific product, which is further research.
I didn't hear you talk much about the economics of the business. Did I miss that?
So the chemicals would be bought in bulk, and they're not very expensive at all. So it would be a startup cost. I haven't done a full cost analysis yet because I don't know exactly which chemical indicator is going to be used. But on average, buying them in bulk, you can get gallons for a couple $100s.
Thank you, Melissa. Yep. Next up, we have Drew.
So, hello everyone. So I think everyone here would agree that the administration here decided to close the Hamville dining at 3 p.m. After that, there are no options for us on campus other than the Smith Dining Hall to eat. And on the weekends, there is just the Smith Dining Hall on campus for you all to eat at. And then at Smith also, it's really crowded in the night, being the only dining option available on campus. And there is the lack of variety on the food options, with less international dishes available in the Smith Dining Hall. And nighttime is the time to socialize with friends, because that is the time when you come back from classes. That's your free time, and you want to hang out with your friends. But with that all crowd present at the same place, you don't get that engagement in one spot. So
I have a question from all of you, all the students sitting here. Has there ever been a time wherein it's the evening time and you're looking for food options around the campus, you're hungry over the evening? Has happened with you? I can see a lot of nodding over there. Also, has it been that you go to Smith Hall, and you are a freshman, I know that. Has it ever been that you land in Smith Hall and you are like, I don't have anything to eat? Has it happened? Yes. Today, see. So what we present is, we conducted a survey from student body around the campus, and around 75% of the people said that almost every night, or at least 3 to 4 times a week, they are looking for dining options on campus.
And then we also asked the question of how important they want to have a cafe on campus that operate during the nighttime hours. And more than 60% of the people said they really want a cafe during the nighttime hours.
Apart from that, we also asked them if they would be interested in joining the cafe, if they would be interested in volunteering or being a part of the cafe. And as you see again, almost 60% of students were very, very highly interested in doing so.
And then we asked, what would you like to have on the menu? Because that's what the cafe is for. So as you can see, they would like to eat healthy snacks during the night time, because currently they have, the Smith Dining Hall has started the craft menu, which is mostly fried options and burgers, which I don't think is healthy in the night time. They would also like to see some shakes, like milkshakes and other options available in the menu.
Also, to enhance their nighttime activities, we are looking forward to placing air hockey, that's their response, board games, bookshelves, musical instruments, art displays, television. And this is being done by other universities as well. So this is a very profitable business option. Denison recently launched their program with Bon Appetit 1 year ago. So did Wooster.
So here we present the Book and Bean Cafe. Cafe curated by the students and for the students. So why our cafe? Why not some other AVI cafe on campus? Our cafe would operate on flexible hours. As we already talked, it would be a nighttime cafe. As it is a student-run cafe. When students are done with their classes, after 8 p.m. we'll start the cafe. It would have a diverse menu selected by the students, and would have options that would change every week. It would increase campus engagement. As Shlok said, we would have air hockey, a bookshelf, an area with music instruments. We would host events like musical nights, karaoke nights. And then for the best ingredients, we'll collaborate with AVI with this. So because of that, we won't need a food license as well. And we could directly start with our cafe. And you can talk about the tech that can be used there.
So basically, we would be using GAT app, which is already there in OWU, and it has been collaborated, in which students could pre-order, and that would make their time very beneficial. Also, we would be adding real-world experience for students majoring in accountancy, finance, management, marketing, etc., etc. We would also have a lot of arts placed over there. So the students who have been designing their art majors, etc., etc., they could place their art in our cafe. We'd be using modern machines and software to streamline the operations, and it would be a launch pad for the aspiring entrepreneurs, as I see there are a few on campus. Talking about the cost structure, majority of our initial cost would be going towards the new equipment which we would be placing and loading up the inventory. That would be the initial cost. We would be having some part of the money set up for recreational activities. Majority of them constitute for the musical instruments. Apart from that, we'll be having a merchandise production collaboration with Barnes and Nobles. For that, that would also be a earning opportunity for us. We'll be having labor, which could be in partnership with AVI for cleaning staff, partnership with ABM and BNG. We have been talking to the respective offices for some time now, so hopefully it works out pretty well. Can I talk about the revenue stream or? So majority of our revenue would be from the sale of food and beverages. Merchandise sales would be constituting a small part of it. We'll be collaborating with different student organizations on campus, and we are looking forward to alumni donations, which would help start the cafe.
I'm not sure if I heard it correct. Have you or have you not talked to the people who run the current food services about this idea?
We have already talked about this to the AVI people. They are the contractors for the food at our college. So what we have talked to them is the cafe would be run solely by the students, but they would be providing with us with the quality ingredients. The hiring would be done by the AVI, so that would not be the part of HR of OWU. It would be done by AVI. So the student workers that would that would run the cafe would be hired by AVI, but rest all stuff would be done by the students.
So is the primary goal of the cafe to give an experience for students to practice? Is it to just have a place for the students to go, or is it to make money?
The first, we are not gonna make any money out of it. All the profit which we would be earning would be reinvested into the cafe to enhance the experience. It is more of a space to enhance their OWU experience and provide them with better food and better opportunities how they would like, and give them more recreational stuff to do.
Also, this cafe would be solely operated by students, so students, like Shlok said, accounting majors, finance majors, or management majors would be handling the accounts for the cafe, and that would create more job opportunities on campus. As we can see, there are very less job opportunities available, and people are still finding job on campus, and international students are not allowed to work off campus, so this would be a good opportunity for them to work.
You may have said this, but where would it be located? Is it an existing?
So we have a location in Stye which is currently not being used, but it is occupied by Stye. They are basically by AVI. They are basically storing some of their stuff there. We are in talks to use that space.
So we actually have one last presentation.
Good evening. My name is Jacob Lowry, and this is Reflex Baseball Reimagined. I'm the founder and owner of Reflex Baseball, which is a private coaching business for youth baseball players. And this is what I believe the vision for the future of Reflex will be. So the problem is pretty straightforward. For us, it is 1, player matching doesn't really exist, and 2, in season, athletes tend to not really experience much individualized coaching or skill development, which is a problem if you're trying to be better. That's where we come in. So we serve 3 main sectors: ball players, family members, and coaches. For 1, ball players, the most important, we kind of just focus on youth baseball players who just have a passion to learn the game, both mentally, physically, everything you could think of. They're competitive athletes who are just chomping at the bit to get better, to separate themselves, to get themselves to the next level. That's why we're here. For families, it's usually they just want to see their kids succeed. They want to see their athlete develop. And I know from personal experience that families, they tend to get very frustrated with the modern day recreational and travel coaching because there really isn't much development there at all. And then for coaches, it's really straightforward with the fact that we're just trying to increase their clientele without all the extra work. So my product. For starters, the online scheduling up here is already integrated within my Reflex framework. It's something that will enable us to integrate the Become a Coach feature for any coaches, any vetted coaches that are across the US that are looking to become a part of the Reflex network. Also, this network will be called Reflex Connect. It's down there. So Reflex Connect will be a platform that will it'll combine pre-existing Reflex philosophy and the partnering coaches, and together it will provide us a service, a platform that they can have very easy contact and direct contact with each other. Currently, there's a Currently, there's a big gap in this industry. There's really nothing that exists like it. However, I don't know. I use a Mac, sorry. Currently, there's a gap in this industry. There's nothing that exists like it, and essentially, not actually essentially, it will be the Angie's List of the baseball industry because there's nothing like it. Market size. The reason why I bring this up is because this is the why. People think it's a niche market. It's really not when you look at it. Numbers kind of tell the whole story. If you look up there, up top, 15.6 million youth baseball players from the ages of 6 to 13. There's 482.2 thousand from anyone in high school, and then for collegiate participants, it's 52,000. These are the current programs that we have within Reflex Baseball already. However, it's really important to note that it's a respectable market, and there's no one tapping into it. It's the market for the revenue generation is there, and nobody has tapped into it. So the advantage, one, there's the universal access to this personalized, individualized coaching, it's not there. Like I've said over and over, it doesn't really exist. Reflex Connect is unique in both its focus and design to where it will provide a platform that connects players to coaches, and utilizing this matching algorithm, it'll do that. And then it's also a turnkey solution for coaches because it will help them, it allows for them to operate their business and manage their clientele without having to do it themselves. It's all one place, locally, under the Reflex name. Revenue and cost structure. Left side, that's just for private lessons. This is pretty cut and dry. However, for the coaching platform, I would charge, this is where it's newer, we would charge $10 just for a subscription, and then $25 if for some reason we would need to provide facilities or any additional money for them. So any place, whatever it be. And then there's additional revenue streams on the side, but that would be longer term, not top priority. And then marketing wise, I'm going to be targeting social media for content creation. I'm going to be going after the social media for to target players and parents in the key demographics. And then I'm going to utilize my merchandising for the same thing. And that's all. So thank you. And I'll open the floor to questions. Thank you.
What is the secret, or what's your algorithm to help make better matches than if a parent just goes out and finds a local coach to do private lessons?
So I'll tell you from personal experience, it's not as easy as just finding personal coaches, private coaches. A lot of times they like to fly under the radar because it's more money in their pocket if they could do it under the table. But that's because they are competing against each other. They have their own thing, but they can't set it up. So that's where I'm going to come into play. So the market, it's really not easy to tap into because nobody really knows about it outside of just word of mouth. And if you don't have the luck aspect to maybe hear of a certain coach, then you're never going to find out that they even exist. And they may not also be the right fit for you. That's where the algorithm will be matching. So it's just a fancy word for filtering pretty much, but it's an algorithm that'll just be treated the same way. So then it best fits and tailors to what your athlete is looking for.
I'm still not sure what you're selling. Are you selling essentially a broker service between the athlete and coach? Are you selling the coach on an opportunity to sell their, coaching through your platform? Or are you actually selling coaching to these student athletes?
All right. So personally, I started this business, Reflex Baseball, my freshman year of high school, and I've been running it since. I've been the one who has been providing coaching lessons, very similar to Landon. So I've been doing that. It's not really sustainable because of just the way that my life is. I mean, it's just not easy to do that. So if you're familiar with Angie's List, where it's just one big market, one big platform to where coaches can, not coaches, but anyone consultant or painters, whatever, personality type stuff. They'll go, they're on the platform, and it's one big mass network to where if you need that as a consumer, you can go, you can look at reviews, you can look at their work, you can look at a million different things and find what's best for you to contract them out pretty much. It's going to be the same thing. It's where I'm just getting all these coaches, putting them on one mass network and scale it because it's very scalable because it doesn't exist, and scale it nationally and by location. Obviously, I'll launch it here, but it's makes it easier and more accessible for coaches to find players, players to find coaches. So to answer your question, I'm selling the service Reflex Connect.
Yeah.
Do you handle all the billing and exchanges and customer service and things?
For Reflex Baseball or the Reflex Connect?
I'm not sure which one. If I'm a coach,
Reflex Connect is the future.
he's a high school student whose parents are going to pay me to coach. Does that payment come through your platform, or
Yeah,
is it
so I have
passed off to us?
Yeah, so I have an automatic billing system built into Reflex as it is. When I build Reflex Connect as the platform, it will be through a very similar system, and it'll be to where it's kind of mutual between the other coach, but I'll get the kickback, which is the $10 or $25, depending on what they need.
Okay, thank you.
One last question. Why would coaches want to join the platform if you're going to take a percentage of their revenue when they can just do it under the table?
Because a lot of times referrals are not very easy in the coaching industry. A lot of times unless a kid comes to them and finds them, which once again, if there's no network, there's no market, like there's no communication there other than occasional word of mouth, they won't be found. It's not a very easy business to be in. So if I tap into communities and then expand and have a network for that one big platform, it'll make life easy. Plus, to expand their clientele, expand the revenue, the money that goes in their pocket, I'm going to be taking care of that because I'm going to have the platform already built for them. I'm going to have everything done for them. All they have to do, once again, the turnkey solution, it's there for them, easy, it's in place, and all they have to do is coach.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you. Let's give a round of applause to all of our students tonight. And thank you to our judges. Let's give them a round of applause as well. So now is the time for the judges' deliberation. We will take a break for about 15 to 20 minutes and we will reconvene. During that time, please go ahead and help yourself to some refreshments in the back. And I'd also like to ask all of our contestants tonight to come up front so we can take a photo. So we're going to take about a 15-minute to 20-minute break. Thank you. No, I was wondering if you were good. Okay. All right, we're back. Thank you all for joining us this evening, and thank you all for your pitches. It's now time for the prizes. In third place is Clint Johnson and Ron Natavat. Can you come on up, please? We'll have you come up. Can you take a photo? All right, you two have won $500. We're going to take a photo right here. All right, Matt. Good on them. Wonderful. Let's give them another round of applause. Oh, you can. Yeah, you can. All right. And second place, we have Landon Kuhn. Landon has won $750. All right, let's give him another round of applause. And in first place with the big check, we have Ava Hurd. Ava has won $1,000. All right, and the rest of our finalists can go and see Dana for your $50 gift cards. I want to thank you all for coming this evening. Thank you to our judges. And you have anything to say, Matt?
So thank you to all the contestants. We sincerely appreciate your participation. Great presentations tonight. I want to encourage you to keep pursuing your ideas. There are lots of resources and opportunities here on campus. This competition will happen again next year. And there is another pitch competition in the spring. It's got a different focus. It has a social entrepreneurship focus to it. But a lot of you have the creativity and the resources to bring something to that competition as well. You should also just be proud of yourself that you're here at all. We had a lot of applications. We did not invite everybody who wanted to be part of this competition to be part of the competition tonight. So by virtue of being here, you are one of the select whose idea was a good one. So again, congratulations to all the participants and to the three winners. We're so glad that all of you are here, and we look forward to seeing you at other Latham Bishop Ventures events.
Grab some cookies and have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much.